It's Sunday, March 16th. I'm Ali Velshi. We've got brand new polling from NBC this morning showing that for the first time in the poll's history, a majority of Americans disapprove of Donald Trump's handling of the economy. Now, we're going to dig into those numbers with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, and we'll talk about threats to Social Security. Plus, Congressman Jamie Raskin is taking on a key figure who's seen as carrying out the president's promised retribution agenda. He'll join me to explain, and we'll get the latest on a flurry of legal activity overnight after the Trump administration issued an executive order invoking an obscure 18th century law to deport a group of Venezuelans without a hearing, and a federal judge receiving word that planes were already departing with the immigrants on board ordered that they be turned around. Then the former Washington State Governor Jay Inslee is here to talk about when silence becomes acquiescence and when acquiescence becomes collaboration, and how to shape the fight against authoritarian creep. But we begin this morning with the COVID-19 pandemic, the deadliest medical crisis in modern American history, which unfolded with Donald Trump in the White House. Now, his second administration is waging a war on our health with unqualified advisors in powerful positions who hold fringe, debunked, and unscientific conspiratorial beliefs. And those seem determined to take us back to a time before life-saving scientific discoveries. 5 years ago today, shortly after the first cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in New York, schools in New York City were shut down. Days later, stay-at-home orders started being instituted in states across the country. At the time, we were all trying to figure it out together. We turned to experts and trusted medical officials to help guide us through those uncharted early days of the pandemic.
It's been less than 2 months since the novel coronavirus COVID-19 first arrived in the United States. And since then, it has wrought havoc into the United States and indeed to much of the world. Overnight, the House of Representatives passed a bipartisan coronavirus aid package that includes free testing, paid emergency leave. It strengthens unemployment insurance and takes other measures. Fear and anxiety are the new normal, and we know that you, the viewer, have tons of questions about COVID-19. So this hour, we're going to try to answer as many as we can to the best of our ability.
Now, 5 years later, a new Trump administration is proceeding as if COVID-19 never happened, as if not a single lesson was learned in the navigation of that deadly crisis. President Trump is now targeting the very scientists and agencies whose research led to breakthroughs like the vaccine that helped get us out of the pandemic. He's gutting funding for institutions like the National Institutes of Health, the country's primary federal funding source for medical research. In 2023, the NIH provided more than $35 billion in grants, supporting more than 300,000 researchers across public and private institutions. Since returning to power, the Trump administration has put in place a massive funding cut for NIH research grants, which has been put on hold for the moment by a federal